Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you are here. And we have got definitely our biggest crowd that I have seen at the start of the show. So thank you for being here. I'm streaming into Facebook. If you're on Facebook, you will need to authorize StreamYard to let your name be there. Otherwise, you will appear as Facebook user. But we would love to see your name and say hello to you. If you are here and you see a little chat on the right-hand side, that means that we are live and you can say hello. And I want to ask all of those that are here what companies you work for. Today, I have a special guest, Lexi, who is going to be talking about all kinds of companies. We're going to kind of do a speed company review today and just get to know where she's been working and lots of thoughts and ideas and opinions about lots of different companies. So you're in the right place. If you want to learn about some companies that maybe you've never heard of before, when I asked Lexi what companies she was working with, a couple of them I had never heard of before, and I've heard of a lot of companies. So do say hello. I see a few folks saying hello, which is awesome. Hello, Yvette, and hello to Meliodas and Kishla. Hello, Andrea. Andrea, what is your 3-year-old son's name? I will say hello to him. He calls me Teacher Dude. So yeah, good to have everybody here. And do say hello. Let us know what companies you work for. And I'm excited to bring up Lexi. Before I do that, I wanted to let you know that I am in line to hit 10,000 subscribers before next Monday's live. And so I thought what I would do is a big giveaway. So you don't want to miss that. There's going to be lots of cool prizes, and hopefully you can show up for that next Monday. So let's see if there's any new folks that have popped in. Hello, Kara. Good to see you. Hey, Cindy. Cindy's with Vipkid, GoGoKid, and OutSchool. Awesome. Hello, Edward. Edward, if you're watching, hello, Edward. And Yasir Nawaz, hello. Good to have you here as well. Let me know what companies you are with. Kina Kola, hello, Vipkid, and about to apply to GoGoKid. Awesome. And Katie is here with, wow, lots of companies. OutSchool, Powfish, Cambly, MyTutor, Abridge Academy, and Vision Academy. That's awesome. I haven't heard of several of those. Yvette says she works with Harmonic Education, Bling ABC, and Hallow. Right. Actually, I was talking to Yvette the other day, and I remember you mentioning Hallow. That's really cool. Ben is with GoGoKid, Vipkid, Magic Ears, and Zebra English. Pretty much exactly the companies that I have contracts with as well. Ben. Kathy is with Vipkid and GoGoKid. Awesome. And awesome. Good. All right. So let's get started. I will bring Lexi up. Super excited to have her. Say hello to Lexi. Hey,
Hello.
Lexi.
Hey.
Good to have you. Thanks so much for taking time out of your morning to chat with us and to, let's talk about online ESL companies. Where are you located, by the way? I don't know if I ever asked you that.
I'm in Indiana right now.
Okay, awesome. So that is Central Time? If I get my...
I'm Eastern. Part of Indiana is Central, part is Eastern, but I'm Eastern. I'm in the part that's
Oh, is that
Eastern
right?
time.
Okay, so both are, oh, awesome. Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
So I first got to know Lexi by watching YouTube videos. So if you have not checked out her channel, I will put that in the show notes or in the description of this video. But Lexi does lives as well. I think you call them What's Up Wednesdays. And I've caught a few of them lately. And the amount of companies that you were sharing about, I thought, wow, that's so cool. I've got to have Lexi on the channel sometime to talk about companies, because, you know, it's so cool to hear people that are actually on the ground working for companies and have explored companies and, you know, made decisions about what companies they want to stay with and maybe reasons why they don't want to stay with them. So yeah, we'll jump into all of that. So tell us, I know you gave me a list the other day, but can you list out the companies that you've got contracts with right now?
Sure. So I have a contract with Vipkid, my first company. I don't teach there much anymore, just occasionally. I'm with GoGoKid. I teach a lot of hours at GoGoKid. I recently got hired at QKids, but I'm not getting a ton of classes booked. So I'm at QKids, but not teaching a lot because just not getting a lot of bookings. I'm also with Magic Ears for another group platform. I get a ton of bookings at Magic Ears. So I teach mostly Magic Ears GoGoKid during the week.
Okay.
And then I teach Zebra English on the weekends. So I'm also at Zebra.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So those are my main Chinese companies. And I'm with Cambly. I just got hired with Cambly, but I haven't been brave enough to open my hours yet because adults It scares me a little bit. And I'm also with OKA. I affectionately call it OKA. It's Online Kids Academy, but they're in Turkey. And they're going to be expanding into Europe. So it's going to be daytime hours. So I'm with them. And then I also just applied to NGU because why not for daytime hours? So I haven't finished out. I have to do an interview or something next. So I'm not there. Hey, Sloan.
Yeah, you got some hello in the chat. Very cool. So you said your first company was Vipkid. What got you into online teaching to begin with, and why Vipkid?
Well, so we moved from Texas to Indiana. My husband got out of the corporate world. And so he left his corporate finance job and became a professor at a university here in Indiana. So the hours are awesome, but the pay is not as awesome. So we wanted something that I could do a little something from home to help out with just the big cut in income that we were taking, which it was a decision we made so we could have more time as a family. But I looked for something where I could work from home because I homeschool my kids. I have 7 kids. Yes, there are 7.
I was going to ask you to tell
I
us
do
how many
have
kids.
7
you have
kids.
a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I have 6 girls, 1 boy, and I homeschool them. So, I have tons and tons of free time. So much free time.
Props to you. I'm telling you, super woman, super mom.
It's fun.
That's amazing. Yeah.
It's fun. So that's why I looked for something that I could do from home. And I saw another homeschool mom who randomly posted on her Facebook page that she was teaching with Vipkid. I was like, I don't know what that is. So I looked it up. It sounded completely like a scam. It sounded so shady and weird. But I decided I'm going to apply. And my husband was like, good luck, dear. You don't play well with others. He was like, I can't see you on camera talking to people, teaching children. He was like, okay, sure, try it. So I did.
I
and
love
I
it. You don't play well with others.
Yeah, that's what he tells me. He's like, you don't play well with others. How are you going to do this? And I was like, I don't know, but the income sounds nice. So I just tried it and I somehow got hired, even though I was terrible. I had no idea what I was doing. So I applied at Vipkid because that's what this other homeschool mom did. So I was like, sure, I'll try it.
Yep. Awesome. I see lots of new people are popping in. If you're here, please do click the like button. And if you're not a subscriber to my channel, I create weekly content about online teaching, building a teacher business, and I do a show also this time. So if you're catching the show every Monday at 10 a.m., would love to have you back for lots of other content. All right, Lexi, so you didn't list Outschool. I wanted to ask you about why, or curious, just because a lot of online teachers have jumped into Outschool. Do you have a reason for that, or just too busy with everything else?
Yeah, I've just been too busy with everything else. And the thought of creating my own content, coming up with my own classes was just overwhelming in the hiring process. And lately it's just so saturated that it also just seemed stressful to try to market myself. My kids have taken some Outschool classes, but it never fails. Every Outschool class we sign up for, there's like not enough students who sign up, or they're the only ones who end up taking the class. And so I just thought, I don't know, as a teacher, I don't want to market myself and worry about my classes not filling since there's just so much competition now.
Right. Okay, so let's jump back over to, I've got a few hellos. LaShara says hello. Yeah, a couple people are saying Cambly's super chill. Don't worry about it. Super relaxed. Yeah.
I know. I will try to eventually.
I also have a contract with them too, but
I just haven't gotten that brave yet.
I get it for sure. So what's your favorite company?
Oh, my favorite company is Magic Years because the flexibility. You can't beat the flexibility. So yes, you do have to be happy in class. You don't have to be crazy. I'm not crazy. But you do need to be smiling. But I don't mind that because if I don't feel happy and sparkly that day, I just cancel my classes.
Right.
And go back to bed.
It's pretty easy to cancel with them. I think that's interesting that, you like, Magic Years is not my favorite company, but I did work with them for a little while, and I can see that they are appealing for certain reasons, and they certainly are extremely flexible, and their cancellation policy is awesome. The drawback maybe for some is that the energy, I know they've kind of relaxed that standard a little bit, and they've done a lot of tweaking to the hiring process, and I think it's come a long way. So, but I find Vipkid the most flexible for me, but many don't. And I think that's so interesting about this industry. Like, you can get in with a company and it can work for you and your life and your schedule and whatever you're looking for, and not for somebody else. So that's why it's so great to have so many options and to find what works for you. So So how many hours a day, because like you're with so many companies, do you really work with all of them all the time? How many hours do you actually teach online, would you say?
I probably teach about 30 hours a week, some weeks more, some weeks less. So like yesterday I did like 14 classes in a row. So on the weekends I can do, 12 to 14 classes in a row. I get up super, super early, starting at, 1:30 or 2 in the morning and just going all the way until 9. So I try to pick up a lot on the weekends. And then during the week, I usually teach from about 4 or 4:30 in the morning until 9. So, I mean, it's a pretty good chunk every day.
Yeah, definitely. Wow.
But I break it up and I do like 2 companies. I don't do all one company straight through because I get really bored. So I'll do like a block of Go Kid and then a block of Magic Years or something like that.
So that would lead into my next question, because I get a lot of people asking me, how do you work with multiple companies? I'm sure that you get that question too. What would you say in a few sentences? How do you do it? Do you kind of pick and choose where you're getting the most income from, and what strategy do you use for that to create your schedule?
I look at how they pay me and how I can maximize to get the incentives at each company. And then I literally just have a spreadsheet. My husband actually made it for me in Excel.
Show us. Oh, that's so cool.
Yes.
Okay, I love seeing that stuff.
Yeah, I just color code my schedule and he's put in there like my credit.
Can you hold it up again? Is that like a grid of that's so cool. Yeah.
It's like an Excel spreadsheet, but it calculates what I make at each company. So I can see if I open these slots, what's my income going to be? Gotcha. So I just do that. And I don't jump back and forth and do like go magic. I do like chunks. Gotcha. Otherwise I confuse myself. So I just lined it all out in my little color coded spreadsheet to see how much am I going to make if I do this. And then I just played with it until I could maximize what I was making. And also I looked at where do I get bookings? So like, and then I just moved it all around.
The income, where you're getting bookings. And I think also it's not always about the money. It is, but it's not always about, how much you're making, because sometimes it only varies by a couple of dollars. But I think it's also important to go with a schedule that works for you. And like teaching 8 Magic Years in a row is not going to work for many people. So breaking that up with maybe a more subdued company. Yeah, cool. That's good insight. I've come up with some different strategies too that I recommend for people in terms of, alternating days, alternating blocks of time, maybe, choosing the company that might book you short notice as a fill-in company for those gaps and holes that may not fill with another company, or just being a weekend company for whatever reason you just want to open them on the weekend. That was Zebra English for me when I was teaching more with them. You as well, So cool. And I know that you just opened with Vipkid for the first time in a long time on the weekend. I wanted to ask you, have you noticed any changes? How were the classes? What was it like?
So it was interesting. The new trials are really, really different, and they were really fun. They were a lot more interactive.
I haven't taught in over a year. I haven't taught a trial in over a year.
I hadn't taught anything at all at Vipkid in over a year. So I got trials, and those were really fun. I had a good time with the trials. Yeah, level 3 and level 4, there's been no changes. So I had a couple of those, and I was like, oh, I have to teach this. Yeah. But yeah, the new trials were fun, and I had a lot of Starlight classes, which were new for me, they're either great or they're terrible, is what I've decided. It's either great because the student can kind of do it, or it's terrible because the student is clueless.
And I think that's the case with a lot of Vipkid classes. It's either terrible or really great, depending on, if the student is correctly placed and things like that.
Right.
Those that are here, please ask any questions that you have of Lexi or I with any of the companies that we're talking about. I also want to ask, I've got a couple questions here first. Let's just kind of run through these here. I had an interview with Buddies and didn't get hired, but would like to see them grow in the future. Advice for future teachers. So Buddies is a very small company that I was promoting about a month ago. They needed 3 or 4 teachers, Madison. And, unfortunately, I think I sent them like 150 applicants. And so it isn't that you're not a great teacher, and, keep your eye on them. And as I hear of positions, I'll let people know through my channel. But yeah, a lot of great teachers weren't able to get an interview there. And it's nothing to do with you, and they are very small, less than 10 teachers based in Israel. So I had another question here. Any company that doesn't require a demo?
Oka
does not require a demo? Okay, interesting.
They do want a recorded, I think they do want a recorded video of you though. now.
Yeah, if
Is
they
what
don't
they're
require
asking.
a demo, you're gonna, like some of the marketplaces like italki and Cambly, I think you just need to make like an introductory video, but you don't have to
Right.
actually do a demo. But it's going to be hard to find a company hiring teachers to teach on their platform with their curriculum that isn't going to require some kind of a demo. Would you agree?
Yeah, StarKid, I know they want a recorded video of you just pretending to teach something, but it's not in their platform. But yeah, most companies, they'll want to see some type of, and I have just like a basic intro video that I made that was supposed to be for whenever I apply to any company that's like, send us a teaching example. So I just have like a generic one of me teaching a few words that I can send to all of them.
Oh, that's a
but
pro
most of
right
them,
there.
most of them do require something like that.
Make a generic, I love that. Make a generic video, especially if you're going to apply to a lot of places. Don't have, Dino in the background sitting there.
No.
have a really just a nice, beautiful teacher background and clean and not cluttered and with other company stuff. That's a really great idea. Short synopsis of Cambly. Well, I can say that Cambly is mostly a free talk platform for adults. You can teach Cambly Kids, which is for kids, but for the most part, it's paid by the minute, 17 cents a minute, I think, $10, and works out to about little over 10 an hour. So you get that 24/7 access to potential students. But those that do teach actively on it love it because it's so relaxed. The pay is really lousy, but it's so relaxed. So if you just want to like pick up a few hours or an hour a day or whatever, it's not bad. Is that what you would say?
Yeah, and most companies outside of China have much, much lower pay. We're used to like 20 something an hour. They're like 10 or 12 an hour. So
exactly.
It is frustrating when you start branching outside of China, the pay is so much lower.
So much lower, yeah, for sure. You're right. Hi, Bren. Hi, Stacy. Education First does not require a demo. Okay, interesting. Did not know that. And yes, Sloan said that as well. A lot of folks are talking about Education First. Dave Puckett says, Dave, I think you were one of my referrals long time ago. But yeah, burnt out after a year of Vipkid, advantages of multiple companies. Well, for sure, just being able to diversify your income, to be able to, maybe find a company that pays more, to add some variety to your teaching schedule, just different opportunities to teach in different time zones, countries. I would say variety and income, really. What would you say? The advantages?
Yeah, for me, I diversified because I was teaching 9 Vipkid classes a day for 6 days a week. And I couldn't stand to look at their platform for another second. I had to diversify. And now that I do a couple companies a day, it just keeps me from losing my mind. I get a lot less bored and burned out.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, so who pays the best? This is the question. $1 million question.
I know. It really depends. So I know Protostar is high-paying company, but you do have to have teaching experience, like in a classroom, brick and mortar. You need to have been a teacher to be able to be hired with Protostar. Bling and Wales, they're the group classes, and they do pay a little bit better than like a Vipkid or GoGo Kid, a one-on-one platform. So I have found that group platforms tend to pay a little bit more, and Protostar and StarKid, which is in Hong Kong, they pay well. Cool. You can get up to $25 an hour there.
Awesome.
So yeah, they have a pretty high pay cap, and at Magic Ears you can get up to 26, but you have to, earn the raises, and it takes 6 months. So it's not a fast process, but you can get them.
So one of the reasons I'm still with Vipkid is because I still do get 25, which is it's completely unheard of now.
That is
with the short notice pay, being able to do that all the time. I'm up there. If I wasn't, then I'd be looking to get on with Protostars or another company. So Lexi has a video. I know you did an interview on someone that teaches with StarKid. So if you're, did you do that last week maybe? So if you're,
I think it was last week. Yeah.
If you're interested in StarKid, the link is below in the description of this video. So very cool. Okay, we got lots of, the chat is hopping, but I wanted to jump over to, so what is your criteria because you're always on the lookout for different companies, right? You're kind of, what's your criteria for when you look for a company? Like what's kind of a sort of a requirement or, a must have in companies?
Well, I definitely look at the pay and the hours. If I'm going to do another Chinese company, do I have a place to fit it? But what I learned, like with Q Kids, because they're 30-minute classes, that does not work for me. It completely messes up my schedule, and I can't stack my schedule with multiple companies. So I look for something 25 minutes that is low prep time for me. So something that I show up to class, I don't have to do any prep, any lesson planning. I don't have to do a whole lot. Like feedback doesn't take me that long.
Right.
So right now I've just looked for simple and fun. So I don't mind the magic ears, because it's easy. So I'm like, I'll do the energy, but it's easy. So that works.
Yeah. Protostar does hire UK teachers as long as you're native English speaking, and you've got
the classroom experience.
Certainly apply. Any recommendations for companies hiring American teachers living abroad? I've struggled with EF, Allo 7, Fluent B, and a few others besides because of that. Well, I'm a Canadian living abroad, and I've never had any problems with Zebra, Magic Ears, Go Kid, Vipkid. The only companies that I have not been able to apply to are Q Kids. And OutSchool, because they require you to be in one of their 5 designated countries due to background check. But if you've got a degree and you are American, you're pretty golden. I'm wondering why you're not with some of those larger companies, because maybe you don't have a degree, but that could be an issue. John, let me know. Yvette says, how about companies with consequences for time off? Well, as you were saying, Magic Years probably has the least consequences for that. And one of the criteria for me when looking at a company is no minimum hours. So that's really like what I want, is a company that has no minimum hours required. So companies like Protostar, Bling ABC, they're going to require a bit. Wales, definitely Wales as well. They're going to require like a commitment of time. It's not always a big commitment. Protostar doesn't require a massive commitment. They want to see that you're not just hiding out with a contract with no open schedule. So Bling is tough. Yvette says, you're welcome, Katie. Yvette says, had a migraine one day, but which had 4 classes counted as 4 absences. Yeah. Zebra. Tell me about Zebra. So I know we went kind of through the hiring process. I went through last year. Did you as well? And then
no, I was doing interviews, I think, at the time that you were coming through the hiring process, because I do interviews for Zebra English. Cool. Yeah. I
don't think you were my interviewer, but I forget who it was.
No.
Anyway, they went through a whole thing where they went on a hiring freeze. I got caught in the middle of that. And then recently they issued a letter saying that their incentives changed. However, I watched your live about that, and then I never really kind of followed up with it with anybody. So what's going on there now? How are things?
Yeah, they've changed things. It used to be where you could open your schedule and you could choose 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, or you could just open it for 1 to 2 weeks at a time. It was up to you. But now they've changed it where when you open a day and time, it opens for 6 months.
Whoa.
Yeah.
6
months. Yeah, it's a really long time. Even if your contract is up in the middle of it, it'll still open like past your contract renewal, which I think is really odd. And I'm wondering if they're going to fix that. So that was weird. But they are saying that you can cancel as long as you do it more than a week in advance. However, if you have to cancel multiple classes, so I guess several weeks or several days at a time, they want you to send a ticket and like check with them and let them know first. And I'm like, that became a lot less flexible than what it used to be. So I'm struggling a little bit because it is just very different. But they haven't said how the cancellations are going to impact your raise. That's what we're all waiting to find out. So if I cancel, but it's more than a week out, I don't get a monetary penalty, but will that knock me out where I can't qualify for a raise?
Right, that was an issue. I remember there was a question around that. And so then I'm wondering, if you open up for 6 months, can you just cancel everything once it's opened?
Well, that they want you to send a ticket and like tell them.
Oh, goodness.
And like ask them about that. So I'm like, well, but I mean, if I'm going out of town, I wouldn't have opened that week because I knew I was going to be on vacation. But now I don't have the option to block weeks or anything if I open my schedule, and your students auto book with you because they're regular students. So when I open, I'm already booked. Like it's an auto book. So it's not like I opened and I can just go back and close what I want to close. Nope. They're already automatically booked by the system. So then I have to actually cancel. I can't close. Does that make sense? Yeah.
So they've changed a lot then, because when I was teaching on weekends in the fall of 2020, it was like nice because it was just like VIP Kid. There was no minimum hours. So interesting. Ben says, Lexi was one who instructed me in teaching info meeting with hi again, Lexi. Hey, Ben.
Yeah, hi, Ben.
Yeah.
I do remember Ben. I do the teacher briefings, the like onboarding for new teachers at Zebra English. So I get to meet a lot of fun teachers.
I remember who my teacher briefing was, but I forgot. It begins with an A, and it's like she's European, I think. I can't remember her name.
Oh,
now,
Angelica? Was it Angelica? Angie?
No.
There was an Angie. There's Elise, Sasha. Oh, Argentina.
Argentina. Augustine. Argentina.
Because she lives overseas. She does. She lives overseas.
In Japan, maybe.
Yeah.
She was somewhere, not Europe.
Or Korea. It was somewhere in Asia. Yeah. I don't remember which country, though.
So a lot of people are dissatisfied with like their company. They've only been with one or two companies. They're looking for something more. Like, how do you go about finding companies? Like, do you search? Do you just go by word of mouth? You know, you've had access to a lot of companies, and I help people. You know, I have a guide that helps people to go through, you know, like some search engines and different places that you can go and look for opportunities. How do you
I just search in the Facebook groups and search some of those ESL websites like the OET jobs, and I just search and read those. And then I started a Facebook group for some of my teacher friends because we were all looking for options. So it was our group to all talk about what we were finding. So we all just go share in our group. So that's another place where we've all started to find some of these companies, like Egg School in Korea. It's a new school that's just getting started. That's how I heard about it. Another teacher in my group shared about it. So that's kind of our little networking spot now, where we all share what we find from all of these other websites.
So great. Yeah, that's so great. I think there's just a gold mine of small companies out there that are not heard of, that are not known, and you know, might be worth checking. I recently came across this Buddies one, which just sounds awesome for hours. Unfortunately, they're just so small that they're not growing at a big rate at the moment, so they weren't looking for many teachers. But things like that, you just never know what you can find. And as you create an online presence, maybe you get on LinkedIn and make your profile sort of searchable as if you're looking for a job, or, people sometimes reach out to me on platforms like that to let me know of different, very small niche companies. So, can you talk about the penalties? I turned down a job with data. I've heard nothing but bad things about data these days. Yeah. I don't even hear anything anymore because I was worried about penalties. Yeah, I don't know about, penalties there's penalties with all companies because you're just gonna, they rely on you to be there. So some penalties are worse than others. You had your first VIP Kid class in a year. I had my first teacher no-show ever last weekend. I had 4 classes in a row and forgot when they started, which I never do. But so I was penalized $10 for that class, which sucks. But
yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, diversifying is key. Great tips. Cool. Hello from London. Hello, Rita. Yeah, if you are here and you've got questions, we're going to wrap things up in a few minutes. I wanted to ask Lexi, what does the rest of this year look like for you? Are you going to be adding more companies, or are you kind of happy with where you're at, or what are you up to?
I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. I was teaching at a couple places in Vietnam. I've had to let those go. One is restructuring. One of them just wasn't a good fit for me. And so I've actually kind of scaled back just to simplify a little bit, because I had so many companies there for a while that I was just overwhelmed, and it was just creating too much work. I was spending too much work prepping, for all the different companies and trying to remember all their policies. So lately I've just been cutting back and choosing the companies that I enjoy the most, that also pay me the best. So it's not just the ones that pay me the highest, but the ones that I also enjoy. So I tell all of my friends in my group, I Marie Kondo my companies. I'm like, does this spark joy? No. And so I've just been quitting. I've been quitting a few of my companies lately. So for me, I diversify, but I also quit ones that I don't love, which leaves me some space to find a new one, maybe, if I feel like it. But lately I've just been really cutting back because it's been too much. Yeah, it's been too much.
Have you experienced burnout? Because you teach way more than I do. So and what have you done about that?
I was teaching a lot where I was also teaching evenings, and I don't teach evenings anymore. And that has really made me feel a lot more sane, getting rid of evening slots. And then I've been trying to take a day off every week because I was teaching 7 days a week, which I don't recommend, but the pay is great. But oh my goodness. So I'm giving myself some more time off. And just trying to take some more breaks. I've also started exercising.
Awesome.
Yes, that makes a huge difference too. So finding something that I can do just for me has really also saved me from burnout, because I have. And also just having other companies, I took a break from Vipkid for a year. I'm trying it again. So that's just kind of, but I have the option and the flexibility. So I like knowing that I'm in control of my schedule and where I'm working. So that really helps me feel less burned out, because I can just not open somewhere, but open somewhere else.
Cool.
So that's nice.
I love that. Good tips. Lexi, where do you recruit teachers for at the moment? Do you recruit for all the companies that you're with, or like?
Yeah, most of them. I don't do a lot of big Vipkid recruiting just because I haven't been teaching there. So I didn't feel like I was the best person to give advice since I hadn't taught there in so long. But I do recruit for GoGoKid. I'm very active teaching there still, and Magic Years, definitely. Those are my two main companies. I recruit a little bit for Zebra, but because of all the changes that they've made and because I still don't fully understand how they're going to impact everyone, I haven't been recruiting as much for them, just because the flexibility is not there the way that it used to be, what I was really looking for in a company. So I don't recruit as much, and I do recruit for Q Kids. They're super easy. Their lessons are so easy. Just their times. Their times are just weird with the 30-minute time blocks with a 10-minute break. It messes up my schedule, but they're super easy. And then I do help teachers get hired at Oka in Turkey. They don't have a referral recruiting program or anything, but I've been able to help teachers just get hired to have some daytime hours. So those are my main ones, mostly GoGo and Magic, and then a little bit of Q Kids in there as well. And Zebra English, if they kind of stabilize and I understand their policies a little bit better, I might feel more comfortable recruiting for them again. But right now, I'm a little overwhelmed with their changes.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that from a lot of people. It's very interesting. But by the way, I've just put up your email address there. Folks, if anybody wants to get in touch with Lexi, it's teacherlexiesl@gmail.com. And, she would be happy to answer questions. You're very similar to me in that I recruit for Vipkid, GoGoKid, Magic Years, and very, very little for Zebra. I found many people don't pass through the demo with them, especially on the first go. Very, very strict. But it's interesting to me to see, we kind of went through a wave in 2018, 19 of like massive hiring and really high referral incentives. So there was a lot of just organic promoting from teachers. And then last year, it seemed to be a bit of an oversaturated market with lots of companies going on hiring freezes, teachers not getting bookings. And now there seems to be a little bit of a different wave of companies offering higher incentives than they ever have before for teachers to recruit friends and family and network, their network to bring teachers in. Have you noticed that too?
Yeah, I have. They've really been pushing recruiting at a lot of the companies. Magic Years just merged with another big company, and they seem to be exploding. Zebra English went off their hiring freeze. Q Kids was on a hiring freeze, but they're hiring again. GoGoKid is always hiring, but they're really, really pushing it. So it just seems like suddenly everyone is needing more teachers, which I was surprised. But I'm still getting good bookings at all the companies where I work. So they haven't overhired at least enough to where it's impacted me so far. So that's nice. I was a little worried with that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I've seen less of the I'm not getting any bookings in social media. I mean, you see it from time to time, but maybe that's an indication that bookings are a little bit more stable with some of these companies. But again, it's hit or miss, and you just have to give it a try and see if it sticks. And if it doesn't, time to move on and go with a company that is working for you and where you are getting better bookings. So Mary Beth says, would you rather teach individual students or groups? For me, individual students. What about you?
I kind of like the group thing, because if the student is ignoring me or being crazy, I'm like, oh, good try. And I just can keep moving. And I don't have to fight with their bad attitude. I can just ignore them. So that's kind of nice. I like just being able to just fly through class and be like, oh, nice try, moving on. Your turn is over. So I like that, because I've had some bad attitude students one-on-one, and there's no escaping them, no break. But at least in a group class, and with group classes, I like not having regulars. So I think for me, it's not just group classes. I like not having regular students, because I use the same props in all my classes, like my same jokes, my same gags. And they're funny every time at Magic Years, because they're all new to me students. They don't know what I'm going to do. So it's so easy. It's so easy.
Yeah, that is
I like that. Yeah.
That's, I'm going to just have to plug this in here because I'm losing juice on the computer. So yeah, see, I'm just missing some comments that I wanted to. Yeah, Dave, I'm so sorry about. He had COVID. Vipkid made no allowances. You know, that is just one of the unfortunate drawbacks to online ESL companies sometimes. You know, I made a video last week about why I hate online ESL teaching, and 5 of the things, that type of stuff was in there, just about how we don't have any control, you know, and the pay is frustrating sometimes. And so, yeah, I feel you. It goes sometimes with the territory, unfortunately. Let me see, any recommendations for company? We've got that one. Yeah, so folks, if you have any last minute questions, do put them in before we sign off. And I think I had, yeah, what do you recommend? I was gonna ask you at the end, what do you recommend for a new teacher starting out when someone reaches out to you? Do you recommend a specific company? What would you suggest?
For me, I probably recommend either Vipkid or Magic Ears, you know, of the ones that I know, because they both have really good teacher training. So they're good places to start, and neither one requires experience.
Right.
So that is nice. And I find that the Magic Ears hiring process is probably the fastest and easiest of the companies that I recruit for. Like currently,
which one? Sorry,
current Magic Ears. Their hiring process is fast.
Really fast.
And pretty,
3 days, right? 4 days.
Yeah, it can be less than a week. It's really fast. And Vipkid, their hiring process is a little more forgiving. You get multiple attempts like you do at Magic Ears. So those two I think are best for beginners because they're a little more forgiving. They give you more training and more attempts. Whereas like Zebra English is one of the most difficult ones to get hired at. I mean, it's hard. And so many people don't have. I know.
Like it.
So that's not one I recommend for new teachers.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. And I think the draw right now is GoGoKid has a $300 signing bonus until the end of April. So that's attracted you know, more teachers to, especially those with other companies, and to try GoGoKid and yeah, Magic Ears. I don't think they've ever offered an incentive. They in my portal they always have like incentives popping up, but I don't pay too much attention to them. I just sometimes see that they're offering different things.
Yeah, theirs are usually not as high if they do offer them. GoGoKid has some of the biggest incentives that I've seen recently. Yeah, theirs are really good.
Cool. Ben asks, are you a Magic Master with Magic Ears?
I'm actually not. I told them I didn't want to rank up right now. So I told them, thank you, but no thank you. I want to stay a senior because you can get raises, but the higher you rank up, the harder it is to get a raise. So I was like, just leave me where I'm at so I can get a raise. Thanks. So yeah, I'm a senior, not a Magic Master, because I just told them, no, not right now.
Right. So at the top, it could be disadvantageous to not get, because you can't get that raise.
The raise is much harder to get. You have to teach a lot more classes. You'd have to have more referrals. So I just told them, oh, that sounds nice. Thank you. But I'd rather have the raise.
Yeah. Dave asked about Palfish. What about company? Because Palfish is good for those without a degree and maybe non-native. Do you get people reaching out to you who are not native speakers or who are, you know, non-degree holders and things like that? Being on YouTube, you probably do, like I do.
I do. Yeah.
Do you steer them anywhere, or have you heard of companies? You know, even folks from South Africa. I made a video because I did some research on like who is actually hiring. Magic Ears was, but they're not really anymore. You have to have like a perfectly North American accent is what I'm finding. If you have even a little bit British sounding, it won't work. So I find Cambly is not really hiring as many South Africans. They do, but they've kind of slowed it down. Ingu, I think, does, and I think Palfish is a good one if you don't have a degree. But I have it on my list. I made a list of companies that hire California teachers. So that was my first research thing. So I'm going to make a video about all of the research that I found out for California teachers. And then I'm going to work on like the South African teachers or, you know, the non-native or non-degree holders. So I'm going to try to make some other lists. So I made my Cali list. I've got my California list, and I'm going to work on my other ones because I get a lot of questions about that. And I do not have all the answers, but I do try to help them research it. So that's California
my goal.
thing. I've always thought, geez, I wish I knew for sure. And I end up having to like go into a Facebook group and ask or something like that because it's never clear. And some companies have just not been clear on purpose for legal reasons, I think. They just can't say that. Vipkid has outright said it, but I've had to be like, okay, go kid, are you or not? And then normally
they're not.
They're not.
Yeah,
you might get through all the way to the end. But
right. And then at the end, they'll be like, nope, sorry. So yeah, I tried to make a list for California teachers, and I'm going to try to make a list for South African teachers and also non-natives or non-degree holders. Is Magic expanding too quickly? You know what? I just nag them if they don't respond to me.
Yeah.
And I do that with all my companies.
She had some coaches. I don't know if Magic Years calls head office coaches or if that's a referring teacher.
No, it's the head office people are your coaches.
Okay, gotcha.
You have like a ding talk group that you're in.
Nag. Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
If they don't answer me within like 3 days, I take a screenshot of my ding talk where it has no response, and I send it to Magic Ears and say, can someone please answer my question? And then, I get a fast response then.
Yes.
You have to be persistent and proactive. In this industry, you just really have to be proactive and advocate for yourself because they're not going to do it for you.
Yeah.
So
actually, Madison, Washington State. Yes, I think that is only Vipkid.
I haven't heard the other companies doing that. And New York, and I've heard New York might be next on the list of where they're not hiring, but most of them still do hire from New York.
Yeah. Melody says, I've been waiting 2 weeks to hear back. Yeah, that's not acceptable.
Send an email. Send an email. That's what I do.
Keep sending those emails. You're welcome, Catherine. Well, we could talk all day about companies, and it was really nice to chat with you, Lexi. Thanks for coming on. I've always wanted to have you on. I watch your lives all the time, and it's full of good information. Like, you are really good at, just having the inside scoop and sharing your experiences, which is so helpful. People love to know, like, what's it really like? Like, don't just throw me a referral link and tell me to apply here. I mean, what's the reality? And I've always tried to be like that as well with, this bookings are not great here, or, things are not great here for this reason, but just, it's never perfect anywhere. And that's the real thing. No company's perfect.
No, and that's why you have a backup plan always. But I always try to be real on my channel because I appreciate people doing the same for me when I apply to companies. I don't want to hear what the recruiter tells me if it's not going to be how it actually is. So I try to keep it real on the channel because that's, this has been a huge blessing for me to be able to work from home. I want other people to have that opportunity, but to be successful with it. And not every company is going to be the right place to be.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Lexi.
Yeah, you are welcome.
What do you have on for today? Are you about to get
oh my goodness.
the day going?
Yeah, I'm headed to Turkey to teach there. And then I have some Zebra English demos. So people are going to teach me. I'm going to be the interviewer. And then I'm doing a Zebra English workshop. So I do teacher training for Zebra English as well. So I'm going to do a workshop today.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I do their workshop. It's fun. I love doing workshops. It's my favorite.
Busy. So you're doing a Zebra English workshop on what?
Positive error correction.
Positive error correction. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So cool. Well, it was great chatting with you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on.
We'll let you go. Thanks for being here and offering so much wisdom and good conversation. So I will catch you another time. Thank you so much, Lexi. Have a good day.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. Bye-bye.
That was awesome. Thank you, Lexi, for coming on. And thanks for everyone who was hanging out in the chat and saying hello. Really appreciate so many of you. This is probably the biggest live I've done. So many of you interested in different companies. And I wanted to let you know that I do have a downloadable free guide here, how to find the best online teaching job. And in that, I share a lot of the resources we were talking about today, as well as some places online that you can go. And you can get that at onlineteacherdude.com/freebie1. I haven't made a banner for that, but I can do that really quickly. So if you go to onlineteacherdude.com/freebie1, you'll be able to download that. And actually, I am about to launch a mini course that is going to really help anyone that's wanting to get into online teaching. So if you get that freebie, you'll be notified when that comes out. So until next time, everyone, thank you for being here, and I hope you have a great day teaching or whatever you are doing. And again, next week, I think will be my big 10K giveaway, which is super, super exciting and unbelievable. And I hope you will all be back for that. So have a good week, everyone. And I will catch you on the next one, same time, same place, next Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. See you later.